All right, traders. Today is it's 4 o'clock. It's closing time. It's April 29th, 2026. The month has gone by fast. I'm going to give this month to the Bulls. They owned it. They earned it. They did awesome this month. All right, let's take a peek at the markets. How I captured 3,200. We'll go over that in a little bit. Let's talk about what we got coming into the close. We've got lot of market cap reporting in the evening. All right, so let's see what we got for market cap that's supposed to report, and we'll look at here. Okay, so today, Wednesday, got $8 trillion on Google going to report. We got $3 trillion on Microsoft going to report. 2.7 trillion, okay, on Amazon. Meta 1.7. And then we got Clack down here, and some more names. But these all right here, these AI owners are the tip of the spear right there. Okay, the hardware and the software that these guys have developed. That's all tip of the spear. AI is the future. All right. AI is tomorrow. All right. So it's going to play a big part. So all of this reports tonight. Whole lot of market cap reporting tonight. So it should be interesting. All right. And then tomorrow, Apple, $4 trillion. Okay, these guys combined could probably pay off the world debt. All right. So we'll see what happens here tonight. Let's take this out. Let's look at the gamma exposure coming into the close. If you want to take a peek at that. Bearish squeeze. They're saying it's an 85% chance. I'm not seeing it. All right. I think we just double bottom, triple bottom down there. Okay. So let's take a look at the market this morning, this evening. All right. So coming into the close, pick up the 10-minute chart. We have a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close with a nice rally. I'm expecting this W pattern to play out. All right. And we wind up coming all the way back up to 715. You guessed it. Okay, W pattern plays out. We go back to 715. Okay, because over here, the market dipped and the bulls bought it up. All right, so they still have faith. They know something that we don't know, like maybe the big boy's going to report big. Okay, got another V bottom here, and the bulls bought it up. All right, two V bottoms to the W bottom right here, W pattern. And I'm expecting price to rise on up to 715 area. All right, 715. Okay, so there's SPY on the 10-minute. We've got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. Look at the 2-hour chart. Okay, on the 2-hour, we have a bullish consolidation, bullish cross. Okay, all in all, this is bullish consolidation on the 2-hour chart. On the daily chart, for today's candle. All right, so we got, I'm going to say it looks like an outside day so far. Okay, so high there was, excuse me, 712.88. The high here was 713.67. Now, I don't know how much of that is going to count because let's take this one. Okay, let's go on the daily chart for that one. Okay, so what are they saying on the high? So the high here was 712.20, a little bit different. Okay, 712.88. Okay, so we've got, looks like the low was 709.25, and I know the low was, yes, 708.37. Okay, so we got lower high, lower low. We closed on the daily chart inside the bullish trap yet again over the rising 17 EMA, okay, just like we did yesterday, okay, and we can pull back here. This is origin of our rally back here in April about a year ago. We come up, produce a higher low, rip, make a higher high. Okay, so I have targets up north of 734, by the way, in case you're wondering. Measured move target 734. Actually, no, Fibonacci move 734 up there for targets. Anyways, daily chart. You can see 3 days ago or 2 days ago, we put in an all-time high. Okay, we haven't made any lower lows, so we're bullish, top of quadrant 4. We're bullish and in an uptrend, okay, on SPY daily. Weekly chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ. Okay, we'll start off on the 10-minute. 10-minute into the close, 10-minute uptrend coming into the close here. Okay, 10-minute uptrend. See the sticks and the 3 riding up on top of the 8 EMA right there over the VWAP. 10-minute uptrend. You've got daylight right here between the 3 and the 8. Same as on SPY. 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. 2 hour. All right, we got kind of bullish consolidation. Okay, remember we rallied from here. Moved over, went up, moved over. Okay, so bullish consolidation over prior consolidation. So bullish consolidation coming into the close on the 2-hour chart. Daily candle. All right, daily candle's a higher low, a higher high, closing over the bullish trap. Much better than SPY. Okay, there's an all-time high right there for QQQ. Okay, we're at the top of quadrant 4. We haven't made any lower lows. There's the prior all-time high. We're going to back way out. Here's the origin of our rally back here in April, about a year ago. Made a higher low, ripped, made a new all-time high. So there's QQQ. Daily chart. This is bullish and in an uptrend for QQQ. All right. Weekly chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart, bullish and in an uptrend. It's hard not to be bullish in an uptrend, all right, if you just made new all-time highs, all right, on the daily candle, on the daily chart, okay? So that should be kind of obvious right there. So let's take a look at Diamond Dow. We'll look at that on the daily chart. Daily chart for Diamond Dow, lower high, lower low, closing under a bullish trap, almost crossing there over the rising 17. That's the green dots. Closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line. I'm going to pan way out. You can see this is quadrant 1. This is the origin of our rally back here in April. We're up here in quadrant 4, middle of quadrant 4. So that's bullish. We have not made any lower lows. We made a higher high. Since making the higher high, price has not attempted to make higher highs. It's been kind of like, I'm just going to say melting off or moving over to the right. Okay, so nice little bull flag right there. So there's Diamond Dow on the daily chart. It's bullish, dysfunctional uptrend. I'm calling it a dysfunctional uptrend because after making the higher high, all they do is melt down or over to the right. Okay, bullish but in a dysfunctional uptrend. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, IWM's a lower high, it's a lower low. We closed under a bullish trap, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. I'm going to pan way out. Here's the origin of our rally back here in April. You can see the quad lines. This is quadrant 4, that's bullish up there. And you got a high right here. Here's the high. We made a higher high, so bullish and in an uptrend on IWM. FNGU. Okay, so FNGU today puts in higher low, higher high, closing inside a bullish trap over the rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. We've got to back way out. Okay, so this is the all-time low. It happens to be also the origin of the bullish rally back here in April. This is the all-time high, and that is the all-time high anchored VWAP, that pink line right there. Okay, so you can see we have a pullback to a higher low. There's the all-time low to a higher low. We rip, all right, so we rally up, and not yesterday, but the day before, we made the rally high right there. So today we put in higher low, higher high, closed in the bullish trap over the rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, if you look at the quad lines, this would represent bullish sentiment, price action over the midpoint. Bearish would be underneath. So they're on the bullish side of the neutral line right here. So they're neutral, all right, and in an uptrend because there's the high. They made a higher high, and they're knocking on the door to the upper third right there. They're flirting with that upper third bullish area right now. So there's FNGU on the daily chart. All right, let's take a look at silver and gold. Okay, so silver looks like a lower low, a lower high, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. They started a downtrend yesterday by making a lower low. So they're still in the downtrend and moving down. Okay, so it's not even dysfunctional. So they're neutral. Okay, this is the, I'm going to pan way out. This is the origin of the rally back here in 2022. Okay, that would be quadrant 1. And then we rally up here to the all-time high for silver. All right, and this is the all-time high anchored VWAP. So we're under the all-time high anchored VWAP. We're in the bottom of quadrant 3. So we're still neutral here, but we're on the bullish side of neutral. So this is neutral, and they made lower low, so they're in a downtrend. So neutral and in a downtrend on silver. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Gold did the same thing, lower high, but they look a little bit better because they're in a different quadrant. Okay, so again, back here, 2022, origin of the rally to the all-time high up here. So here's gold, lower high, lower low, closing under bearish trap, under the flat 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, just under top of quadrant 3. Okay, so upper third's going to be bullish. That's bullish. There's a low. They made a lower low yesterday, so that's a downtrend. So bullish, but in a downtrend, and that's a working downtrend right there on gold. Let's take a look at USO. I think USO put in a new 10-year high today. New 10-year high, higher over the bullish trap, over the rising 17. That's bullish. And in an uptrend. I give this guy permission to go to 186, 184, okay? 184 is my number for this guy right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. And that's bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at UNG. Never fails to disappoint us. Let's take a peek at what they did. Lower high, lower low. Hey, no surprise there. Closing under the bearish trap, closing underneath the falling 17. I'm going to pan way out. This is a 12-month high anchored VWAP. You can see the struggle over the last 12 months to hold the higher ground anywhere up above that line. Okay, just couldn't get it done. All right, so this is the all-time low right here. We are flirting with the all-time lows. As you can see, today's candle, lower high, lower low, closing under the trap, under the falling 17, under the 12-month high anchored VWAP, definitely under the midpoint, okay? At the bottom of quadrant 1, that's going to be bearish. And you can see there's a low. They made a lower low, so they're in a downtrend. They even got a low here. They made a lower low. So they're in a downtrend. So bearish and in a downtrend, looking to make new all-time lows. Okay, so for you bottom pickers out there, you know, open your eyelids. This is looking good for you bottom pickers. There's UNG on the daily chart. Let's take a look at, what do I want to look at? Technicals. Okay, T2101. Let's move over. And T2101 right here, this would be market participation or market breadth. Again, we kind of consolidated to the right today. We didn't really melt down. We didn't melt up. You can see right here, market breadth dipped again, or market participation dipped again. kind of a bearish gap down. It looks like we filled the gap here, but again, the market's getting thinner and thinner, which is going to make it very easy for them to produce a blow off the top event. We'll see what happens, all right? This is not a good sign. I like to see it when more participants are piling in as the market makes new highs. And we keep moving. So we're making higher highs on low participation. That's not a good sign. You want to make higher highs on solid growing participation, and we're not doing that, okay? Which kind of tells me the end may be near to this 2026 rally. All right, T2122. Look at this. We fell out of the buy area. All right, if everything over the gold line would be bullish. If you look at April, all right, for the most part, the yellow line stays above the gold line. Only twice did it dip below. All right, and each time the bulls rescued the price. You can see we spent a lot of time up here in the buy zone and the overbought zone. Today we got lower highs and we got lower lows. Okay, so it's been a while since we've been down here in the sell zone. All right, and we actually made an even lower low than here back on the 13th. Okay, so we wind up closing in the seller's chop zone. That would be point for the bears, all right? So point for the bears here, closing it inside the seller's chop zone. Point for the bears on the T2101 for, market making new highs but less participation. Okay, that's kind of a bearish outlook if you ask me. T2123. Yesterday made new all-time highs, and it looks like today they made another new all-time high today. Okay, but they're closing out the day with you can see a low here under the 17, and they made lower lows, so they're closing it out in a downtrend. Okay, but new all-time high T2123. Look at them hold the high ground up here. Nice work there. If you're a bull, you want to be over this rising 200. That's a bullish sign there. So bull's still in control, but in this starting a downtrend right here at the all-time highs. So there's T2123 15-minute chart. That's bullish and in a downtrend because they made lower lows. All right, 3-bar chart's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Notice it's also over the rising 200. Top of quadrant, see the daylight? That was our all-time high. They made new highs, so this is bullish over the rising 200. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. Bullish and in an uptrend on the 3-bar chart. 15-minute chart, remember, okay, was in a downtrend because they got a low and they made lower lows right there. So that's T2123, 15-minute chart. Okay, so let's take a look at FNGU on the 15-minute. All right, so FNGU yesterday gapped down, but didn't make lower lows. Okay, because here was the low, and they didn't make lower lows, so they remained in an uptrend over the rising 200. So today, what did we do? It looks like we gapped down, filled the gap. And did we make lower lows? We have a low here. We did not make a lower low from that one. We have a low here. And we did make a lower low there. So we're now in a downtrend because you can see we got a low here. And you can see a little bit of tail come to shoot through the bottom of that right there. Okay, so we made a lower low, and we didn't make a higher high yet. So this is a downtrend now, no longer an uptrend. We're over the rising 200 SMA. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. But we close out the day in a downtrend on FNGU. Now, if we put the quad lines in here and encompass as much of this rally up here, you can see we're at the top of quadrant 4. So that's bullish, but now in a downtrend. because they made lower lows right here, okay, for today on the 15-minute chart. On the daily chart, they're neutral and in an uptrend. But on the 15-minute, you can see we made a lower low right there, so that makes it a downtrend. Okay, so there's a stinker on the 15, still bullish up here. Okay, so let's take a look at, that's it right there, US dollar index. We can hit that tomorrow. Let's look at the guidance that we got this morning. All right, so let's take a peek at the guidance. Let's push this up. All right, and let's move this over. And we want that one, but we want 3-minute chart. Okay, so for the guidance this morning, all right, I had a special posting and it's not here. I shared it. It's in the room, right in here. Okay, posted it in the room. If you want to see when that was posted right here at 7:55 right here. Okay, that's when I alerted traders I'm short SPY shares, and I am also short MES futures. Okay, and my stop was over this wick right there. All right, and I was trading a continuation of this 3-minute, 5-minute downtrend right there. And these were my targets. Target 1 was 7:11.12. Target 2 was 7:10.35. That was well-known support or resistance. Resistance if you're underneath it, support if you're above it. Target 3 was yesterday's lows, 7:09.20, 7:09.40. And target 4 was 7:08.46, which happened to be gap fill down here. Okay, so you can see, you know, the guidance is solid. All right, trading the downtrend. I gave you target 1, 2, 3. I even gave you a target 4, and you can see where price in the market. Okay, so let's look for that wick that I was talking about in the pre-market and see if I can find it. This is UNG. Let's take a look at SPY. Okay, so there's that wick right there. I'm going to circle it. Okay, right there is the wick. That's where the stop goes over that wick. And you can see the first stop was 7:11 right there. So right here we hit the first one. The next one was 7:10.35. And you can see right here we hit the second target. Okay, and then we rallied up, made a lower high. Okay, we didn't take out the highs of the pre-market, made a lower high, stayed in it, all right, and then came back down here and hit the, see that right here, 7:09.30. This would be yesterday's lows over here. See that? Yesterday's lows. All right, and then we came down here and we did a double bottom. This would be the gap fill from a day or two ago. Several days ago, got a bullish gap right there. And they filled the open gap right there. So that was double bottom into 7:08.30, all right, 46 right there to fill that open gap. Okay, so there's target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4. Hit. Okay, so beautiful chart right there. Just nailed it, all right, on that one. All right, so that's SPY on the 3-minute, and that guidance was given. So we took puts right here, traded them down to that, reloaded them, and traded them down to here, reloaded them, and traded them back down to here. So that was our day, all right? It was a nice, profitable day for, I hope, everybody in the room. If you didn't make money and you're in the room, please sing out and let me know so I can help you. Other than that, guidance was solid. You got something, CP? And I love it when the people in the room make some profits. That's a beautiful thing for me. It means I'm on the right track. All right. So you know, I'm learning this instructor thing, so it means I'm on the right track. So that was great. All right, let's take a look at Scott. Did good. Oh man, this I'm two for two so far. That's good. All right. So, if anyone got a stock you want me to look at, we can look at it. It's not going to make a whole hill of beans right now until everything shakes out. Okay. So we just had FOMC. I would wait for all of the dust to settle between the Google and all the big boys to report. But I can take a look at it if you want me to take a look at it. All right. So if not, I will see everybody tomorrow and hopefully we do it again. Okay. So if you remember the day before, I gave the guidance right here. That was today's guidance. Okay. That was today's guidance right here. So you can see, even I gave double guidance because we had the 10-minute downtrend from there, but I wanted to get people in it early so that they could participate for in the room. But we had, this was the guidance for today. Trade a continuation of the current 10-minute downtrend below 712.70. All right. And you can see that worked out perfect. Okay. Okay, just worked out perfect below. You can see right here we're below 712.70. Okay, and then I can bring that guidance back over one more time. Oh, this, that, don't want that, but want this. Okay, and below 712.70 to the market low 709.50, and then the gap fill is 708.46, and of course you can see we hit the gap fill 708.46. So I don't know. It just doesn't get any better than that. I mean, I'm giving you the guidance, all right, here in the room, pretty much calling the shot, all right, before it even happens. You can see that guidance was given right here in the room at, when was that posted? 8:50 a.m., okay? All right. Sometimes market does change, by 9:30, all right? Today it didn't. All right, we were able to trade the continuation, but sometimes market does change. All right, so I offer a bullish plan in case it does change and get bullish right out of the gate and break the continuation of the 10-minute downtrend. So if it does trade up over the pre-market highs, that would be an entry for me, and that was where I put this in case I got duped. And I've been duped once or twice, several times, matter of fact. So just got that just in case, the downtrend ends. All right. So we'll see what happens. Again, tomorrow, looking forward to another good day. All right. So we'll see everybody tomorrow. Everybody have a beautiful evening. I am so glad to hear you guys made some profits. I will see you tomorrow. So in the futures accounts, made 850 in my futures accounts. That'd be 850 in each one. All right, so that was a nice day for me for today. And again, that was a trade that I took at the beginning of the day. Again, right off that wick that I pointed out in the room. So today was a good day. All right, I'll see everybody tomorrow.